Good morning, Thomas MacLaren School. Today, I want to tell you the story of Wilma Rudolph. Wilma Rudolph was born prematurely in Tennessee in 1940. She weighed just 4.5 pounds at birth. As a young child, she had pneumonia, scarlet fever, polio, and infantile paralysis. She survived, but lost strength in her leg and her foot. She was physically disabled for much of her childhood and wore a leg brace for many years. This picture you see here is not a picture of Wilma, but you can imagine a little girl with polio using this kind of gear to get around. It would have also looked something like this. Wilma said at this time, "My doctor told me I would never walk again. My mother told me I would walk again. I believed my mother." Black Americans couldn't get good medical treatment in Wilma's town, so she and her mother took a 50-mile bus ride to Nashville and then 50 miles back home again every single week so she could see good doctors who would care for her. She did that every week for 2 years. Her family took off her leg brace and massaged her leg 4 times a day for those 2 years, and she wore an orthopedic shoe that looked like this. And at the end of those 2 years, when she was 12 years old, Wilma Rudolph could finally walk without assistance, and once she could walk, she started to run. Wilma Rudolph became a star basketball player in high school and started running track, and she was pretty good. As a college student, Wilma Rudolph went to Olympic tryouts and managed to set a world record in the 200-meter dash that stood for 8 years. Think about that. She wasn't even in the Olympics yet. She was just trying out and set a world record. She did well in the 1956 Olympics and even won a bronze medal in the relay. But she went back to the 1960 Summer Olympics in Rome, determined to win gold. And here's some photos of her competing here. And in those 1960 Summer Olympics, she did pretty well. Competing in the 100 and 200 meter sprints, as well as the 4x100 meter relay, Wilma Rudolph won a gold medal in all of them. She was the first American woman to win 3 gold medals in a single Olympiad. She returned to the United States a celebrity. She was called the fastest woman on earth. She even got to meet President Kennedy. She went home to Tennessee and finished the college degree that she had put on hold in order to compete. She studied elementary education. Wilma Rudolph retired from competition at the age of 22. She did many other good things in a long career. She was a goodwill ambassador for the U.S. State Department, a coach, a sports commentator, even the vice president of a hospital. But before all that, she was a second-grade teacher. That's all for today, everyone. I hope you enjoyed Wilma Rudolph's story. Thank you.
Uphill by Christina Rossetti. Does the road wind uphill all the way? Yes, to the very end. Will the day's journey take the whole long day? From morn to night, my friend. But is there for the night a resting place, a roof for when the slow dark hours begin? May not the darkness hide it from my face? You cannot miss that inn. Shall I meet other wayfarers at night, those who have gone before? Then must I knock or call when just in sight? They will not keep you standing at that door. Shall I find comfort, travel sore and weak? Of labor you shall find the sum. Will there be beds for all who seek? Yeah, beds for all who come.
Unharvested by Robert Frost, a scent of ripeness from over a wall, and come to leave the routine road and look for what had made me stall. There sure enough was an apple tree that had eased itself of its summer load, and of all but its trivial foliage free, now breathed as light as a lady's fan, for there had been an apple fall as complete as the apple had given man. The ground was one circle of solid red, May something go away, always harvested. May much stay out of our stated plan, apple or something forgotten and left so small, smelling their sweetness would be not theft.
Mother to Son by Langston Hughes. Well, son, I tell you, life for me ain't been no crystal stair. It had tacks in it, and splinters, and boards torn up, and places with no carpet on the floor. There. But all the time I's been a climbin' on and reachin' landin's and turnin' corners, and sometimes goin' in the dark where there ain't been no light. So, boy, don't you turn back. Don't you fall set down on the steps, 'cause you finds it kinder hard. Don't you fall now, for I's still goin', honey. I's still climbin', and life for me ain't been no crystal stair.
Surprised by Joy by William Wordsworth. Surprised by joy, impatient as the wind, I turn to share the transport. Oh, with whom? But thee long buried in the silent tomb, that spot which no vicissitude could find. Love, faithful love, recalled thee to my mind. But how could I forget thee? Though what power, even for the least division of an hour, have I been so beguiled as to be blind to my most grievous loss? That thought's return was the worst pang that sorrow ever bore, save one, only one, when I stood forlorn, knowing my heart's best treasure was no more, that neither present time nor years unborn to my sight that heavenly face restore.
The Lake Isle of Innisfree by William Butler Yeats. I will rise and go now, and go to Innisfree, and a small cabin build there, of clay and wattles made. 9 beaners will I have there, a hive for the honey bee, and live alone in the bee-loud glade. And I shall have some peace there, for peace comes dropping slow, dropping from the vales of morning to where the crickets sing, their midnights all a glimmer, and noon a purple glow, and evenings full of the linnet's wing. I will arise and go now, for always night and day I hear lake water lapping, low sounds by the shore. While I stand on roadway, or on the pavements gray, I hear it in the deep heart.